Every human pregnancy is measured against a strict deadline. But how does the human body actually know that exactly 39 to 40 weeks have passed and that it is finally time for birth? For decades, finding the precise trigger for natural labor was incredibly difficult for medical science. Researchers could observe the outcome, but the exact switch that initiated the process remained elusive. Doctors have long understood that labor is ultimately an inflammatory event. The mother's body mounts a massive response to begin contractions. What they couldn't identify was the spark that lit that specific inflammatory fire on time. This gap in our understanding translates to a very real dilemma for expectant parents today. They are often left weighing the uncertain choice of waiting for natural labor to begin against scheduling elective interventions like early inductions or cesareans. The answer to that timing dilemma lies in a temporary organ we usually throw away. The placenta functions as a biological clock. This graphic outlines the simple equation governing it. Space limits create physical stress, which accelerates placental aging, which directly results in labor. Understanding the mechanics of this clock shows that the end of pregnancy follows a highly calibrated countdown. To see how the countdown works, we have to look at the baseline state. From week 0 to roughly week 28, the placenta acts as a dedicated biological peacekeeper. Because the fetus is genetically distinct from the mother, her immune system should technically perceive it as a threat. The placenta prevents this by pumping out immune tolerance signals, molecules that pacify the mother's immune cells. But entering the third trimester, between weeks 29 and 39, an unavoidable physical reality sets in. The fetus grows rapidly, and space simply runs out. This diagram of mechanical contributors details the resulting stress on the system. The wall tension of the uterus increases dramatically. The placental tissue is heavily compressed, and the fetus demands a massive amount of nutrients and oxygen. This severe pressure increase is not a medical failure or a flaw in the female anatomy. It is a functional component of the reproductive system. Mechanical stress is the essential first step. The physical weight of the growing baby is quite literally winding the biological alarm clock. Eventually, the system crosses a threshold. The extreme lack of physical space creates intense oxidative stress within the placenta, and its oxygen margins drop. It reaches its functional limit. Intense physical stress triggers rapid cellular senescence. Placental cells aggressively age. This flips a switch. The placenta stops producing peacekeeper signals, releasing pro-inflammatory signals instead. Without peacekeepers, maternal immune cells activate. A massive wave of inflammation spreads across the uterus and cervix. The physical outcome of this cascade is immediate. The inflamed uterine muscles begin to contract, the tissue of the cervix ripens, and natural labor officially begins. Biological aging and inflammation, processes we typically associate with disease, provide the biological signals required to start a new life. Once that threshold is crossed and the baby is safely delivered, the highly aged placenta is expelled from the body. Its finite, temporary purpose is complete. But how do researchers know this invisible sequence of events is actually happening in the dark of the womb? To prove the threshold theory, we have to look at the medical data. Scientists can examine the forensic evidence by taking placentas from natural, spontaneous labor and comparing them directly against placentas removed during elective, early-term cesarean sections. This list of testable predictions highlights the findings. Placentas that initiate spontaneous labor consistently show significantly higher markers of necessary cellular aging and mechanical stress than those extracted early. For expectant parents, this data carries real weight. Choosing an elective induction without a strict medical necessity means manually bypassing a carefully calibrated biological alarm before it is ready to ring. The placenta functions as a temporary life support system that identifies the exact moment its work is complete. Unless medical necessity intervenes, its timing remains our most reliable guide for birth.